All right, so we just got the truck packed up, left the 50 Campfires offices, hitting the highway to Itasca State Park. Itasca is the headwaters of the Mississippi River up in northern Minnesota. Got a crew from 50 Campfires hitting the road in the truck. Also bringing along my 5-year-old son, Henry. First time sleeping in a tent tonight. Hoping the weather holds out for us. Just road tripping, gonna hit a few spots along the way. Really looking forward to it.
All right, we got the 50 Campfires campsite about ready to roll. We rolled in about 2 hours ago. We got our bare bones tents set up, ready to go. Second we got here, we got the Braven speakers rocking, and we're excited about a pretty awesome guys weekend. We got 4 guys up here and got a little one up here running around, so it's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's my first time sleeping in a tent.
We're gonna throw some ribs on the grill in a little bit. We got a bunch of fun yard games. We did some exploring already. Pretty fun path right down to the lake. We're right on the water. It's about perfect. It's the perfect 50 Campfires campsite, so it's gonna be a good night.
I get so busy in my day-to-day life, working in the city, you know, kind of nose down, eyes on the streets, sidewalks, that you forget to look up a lot of the times. And it's great to be able to get into the woods or get somewhere away from the city where kind of you don't have the light pollution, and being able to check out the stars, being able to see the, you know, the craters on the moon. Love bringing a telescope out camping with us. It allows us to see these things that you forget to look at every day. You forget to look up. When you get a chance to look up, you realize how big everything is. And it's definitely one of my favorite parts about going camping and being outside and being kind of away from the city is simply looking up. Being able to remember that you're not the biggest thing in the world, that there's things bigger, that there's a whole universe going on around you and you're just a part of it. It's awesome. We arrived at Itasca. It's got to be one of the greatest places, definitely in the Midwest, if not the country. It's the headwaters of the Mississippi River. Cooked outside, had an awesome time around the campfire. And tonight is Henry's first night in the tent. So
And I'm excited.
He is excited. We've got the cot set up. I'm excited for him. It's going to be one of those times he's never going to forget. So he's dressed to the nines. It's supposed to drop into the 40s tonight. So I think we're going to do awesome. Awesome first night in Itasca. And yeah, good night. Say good night.
Good night.
One of my favorite things is sleeping in a tent out in the woods. This morning we woke up to beaver slapping out on the lake and loons this morning. And that's an amazing, amazing experience to wake up to those sounds happening around you. There's nothing you have to do. And when you're cooking a meal, for example, or starting a fire, you can take your time because you don't have anything to do. You don't have to get to anything. So when I'm out here, it's very relaxing to connect to that pace of life when we're out here.
So we just got done climbing this fire lookout tower in Itasca State Park. It is 100 feet up, 10 stories, and it's an entirely new vantage point. We're in this beautiful park, seeing these trees, these lakes, coming around these birds and animals, and seeing these swans walking around with their young. And we get to this fire lookout tower, and you get to 60 feet up and you're even with the tree line, and it's an entirely new view. Then you get up to 100 feet and you're above the trees and you're above these birds. It really just changes everything. It changes the way that you start looking at these things that you may see on an everyday basis. And now we're off. Guys, weekend continues.
Fishing is a great way to add some variety to the weekend. It brings in a whole activity that's completely different from hiking or the cooking experience or any of those things. If you're lucky, the cooking experience is tied to the fishing. When we go out fishing with the 50 Campfires crew, you know, we're not trying to get the record muskie on the lake or break the state record for largemouth bass or something like that. We're grabbing a simple little tackle box, going with worms, going with some simple rods and reels that are easy for people of all ages to operate, especially the kids. If you've been fishing with kids before and they get even the tiniest, you know, little 3-inch bluegill, they are so excited, and it's amazing to make those experiences happen.
You get this routine that you run, and it makes your life easy, but once you break that routine is when learning and being a kid starts to happen. It's not necessarily easy for a parent to kind of wrangle a kid that doesn't have a routine, but to get them out into nature where they don't maybe even have a set bedtime, and they're sleeping outside of their own room, and they're eating food that they normally wouldn't eat at home, and they're doing activities that they might not participate in every day. You're really able to watch them grow and absorb these things and create defining experiences that they're probably going to remember for the rest of their life.
Hiking is one of my favorite parts about camping. I love to, you know, pull up that map of the park that you're in, take a look at the trails, take a look at the different things you can stop at, and get out there and get out in the middle of nowhere where it's nice and quiet. My wife and I do a lot of walking in the city just about every night, but it's such a different experience to come out here and walk around through these big old growth trees, and it's dead quiet. You can't hear a single car on a highway anywhere. There aren't any buildings around, and it's its own different kind of loudness, right? It's when you get out here and there aren't buildings around, you'd be surprised when you're out on a trail how loud the forest can be with all the different things that are happening and all the birds and all the insects. It can make quite a ruckus, but it's relaxing. It's pleasing. It's so very different from the city. So that's been a favorite thing of ours, is to make sure we get a chance to explore all of the different parts of the parks on the backwoods trails.
You know, I really learned a lot this weekend. I heard Nick tell Henry, it's less about the destination and it's more about the journey of getting there. The more I heard that and the more I started to apply it to my life and apply it to this week, the more I really started to understand it. You know, maybe getting out and fishing was less about catching the biggest fish, and it was more about laughing and joking with Clint and making fun of each other. And I really think that was kind of a highlight of my weekend. It was really getting to that point of realizing that. Maybe it was less about getting to the headwaters and enjoying that, and it was more about the journey of getting there. It was more about the hike and what we saw along the way. Ultimately, this entire trip boils down to not only learning about the environment and enjoying the environment, but you're also learning from other people. And you're learning from a different community, and you're enjoying that community. I think that's something that is really easy to forget in a busy life. That's really cool to me.